I know you're gonna dig this.
And it goes a little something like this. Day and night bugging. Shit runs out. Big two bucks. Check the real flavors. Call me unexceptional for smoking and joint. Day and night bugging. Shit runs out. Big two bucks. Check the real flavors. Call me unexceptional for smoking and joint.
Good day and welcome to the DYL podcast. This is episode 11 and the last for the year. Welcome. Good day. How you doing, Big Mo?
Mackay. Can't believe it's the last one, eh?
Yeah, man, it's been a hectic year. hectic year, man.
Bruh. It's been, yeah. Oh.
So we're just holding on for the next week and a half now, eh?
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
We are waiting for this year to end as if like we're going to start 2021 on a clean slate.
I think it's a mental thing. People want to feel good about something. People look. People are beings of hope. You know, you always hope that tomorrow is going to be better. So when people start saying at beginning of the year it was 2020 forecast or 2020 money,
20.
They had a tagline for it.
Something like that. It's when you say we are beings of hope.
Yeah,
you just made me think of these fake pastors.
Don't start with those guys. Don't start with those guys. The less we have of those guys, the better.
Because it's that why they play us so much. Because they see we have hope.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, those guys pry on the vulnerable. And most people are vulnerable because maybe they didn't achieve much for the year previous.
Yeah.
And now, supposedly, if you give more money to the pastor, more blessings are coming. I don't understand that because
I also don't get it. Eh?
Because you're giving more money, which is meant to help you, to help somebody else to live a soft life. You know, because these pastors, they live a soft life.
And to each its own. Eh?
And maybe even one of my wishes is to actually somehow. The government gets to get rid of these people. People talk like you find old people taking their last monies, dog. No, I'm serious. They take their last monies and they spend 25K just to sit next to Upushir. That's some crazy shit, bro.
You know what I've always thought and still think. Every church is like those bushiris. It's just they don't overdo it.
Yeah.
In every church, you always have to give out something.
Yeah.
So, because if you,
it's all about tithe and stuff.
Yeah. Because you know the Roman Catholic, the one is it in Italy?
Yeah. Vatican
City.
Yeah.
They have their own seat. They have their own city.
Yeah,
and apparently, it's one of it's the richest city.
Yes.
Where do they get the money?
Yes. So okay. So there's two parts to me, right? About that is that I think a lot of churches, especially the traditional churches, as much as they get tithe and all of that, they do a lot of good. And the monetary aspect is not part of. It's part of in terms of if you can do, but you don't get locked out if you can't. You can speak to a pastor without tithing.
Yeah.
But to speak to Pushir, you have to put down 25K.
Yeah.
Do you get my point? If Pushir needs to lay his hands on you, the money goes over. So those guys are more money orientated, and while the traditional churches are more about trying to help people and
whatever you have.
Yeah, whatever. And of course, let's be real. There's, churches are operations, so there's people that work there, and stuff like that. So even though they don't force you to tithe, because no one forces you to tithe, it's expected that you would do it if you can do it. But no one's going to go into your bank account and
be like, yo, I need 5,000. I need 25,000.
Do you get my point? So I think that's a big difference. And I think for me, I can sort of it's more palatable that way. The other guys are doing it the other way, bro. And also these guys are like selling everything. They're selling stickers. They're selling oil. They're selling water. They're selling CDs. They selling
Definition of capitalism.
in the church.
In the church.
In the church. So going into talking about New Year's resolutions, I hope that something is done about that, you know, because a lot of people put a lot of their lives at risk trying to appease these people, right? And most of them, sorry to say, but most of them do not open churches where they come from.
No.
Do you get what?
Is it
So those people back home, they don't need help.
Botswana or Lesotho? One of these two countries.
Botswana's banned them.
Botswana's banned.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Botswana.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
gangster.
I like
That's
that.
gangster.
No. The law in Botswana, bro. You fuck around. There was a time when one guy, a member of TKZ,
Yeah.
he couldn't go there because I think he had a car accident and somebody died, and they wanted to hang him there.
What?
I'm serious, bro. I'll get the name, but it's one of the members of TKZ. I know it's not Ukabelo or Zwai. I think it's
Tokololo.
Or maybe
Because remember they had TKZ family.
Yes, I think it's one of those guys as well. Yeah,
was Boo and
yeah. One of them can't go to Botswana because Botswana's like, if you kill a citizen here, it's on. You understand? So some people say it's brutal, but I hear that there's not a lot of crime there. You know, so it in some instances it actually helps. You know.
Yeah.
But on
a lighter note.
On the lighter note, man, let's get into it. I think.
Yeah.
Let's get into, because there's a lot to cover for this episode. So basically, we're just going to be looking back at stuff that stood out for us
2020
in 2020, and just going through what impressed me and what impressed you. And then on the second round, we're going to be looking at the albums that dropped yesterday. I just do want to do a disclaimer. I think you also can appreciate that. We've listened to both albums. I still think, you know, to be fair, it's going to be first take. I think we still need to digest them more. But, you know, we're here. We're going to give as much as we can get.
It's going to be a rough critic.
Yeah, right.
We only listen to them like once. And
and both of them are quite extensive.
Yeah,
you know, it's not just 4 songs or 5 songs or something like that. So let's get into it. It's the year in review, DYL year in review, and what we're gonna start off with is male standouts. So basically, what we want to talk about here is which artists, hip-hop artists, that stood out the most for you, and of course then you can go ahead and say, you know, why you think they stood up and they stood above the rest in the game this year.
I have 3 names. Whenever you say the guys that stood out for me, 3 names come to mind.
Okay.
2 from Pretoria, 1 Cape Town.
Mm-hmm.
So Cape Town, obviously younger CPT holding it down.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2 guys from Pretoria, it's Foka and 25K.
25K.
But we all know in those 3, there was one standout guy.
Yeah. Overall.
Which was Foka. Mm-hmm. And like I said on the previous episode, I wanna hear Foka on boom bap or trap or grime beat.
And you think he can handle it?
I think 2021 Foka should give us that.
Mm-hmm.
And the other 2 guys at 2021, they should just hit the ground running and run with it. Yeah.
Why would you say, just maybe for you to expand, why would you say Foka, the specifics that actually impressed you about Foka this year?
The grind itself, he didn't box himself into rap.
Okay.
Right. He was actually, one would argue that Foka was the number 1 vocalist in piano.
Piano, yeah.
So, in other words, the piano niggas, the piano vocalists, they slept on themselves and let a hip hop nigga come and run their shit. So I commend him for that, and I hope he brings it back,
Comes back home.
and he does his thing. Like, the nigga's been grinding, eh?
Yeah.
The
No,
nigga
it's,
been grinding.
he's got an extensive feature catalog
man.
as well as his own songs.
And I can tell you, I don't know if you understand Tswana or Pedi
A bit. Yeah.
but that guy's punchlines, just, out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So that alone, I was like, you know what, this nigga is,
He's on the right path.
he's on the right path. I mean, he's not a standout for me for no reason. He has a great album out. He's the number one. What is MC? He cleaned out the hip hop awards. I mean,
Okay. So for you it's Foka. For me, I'll actually do it in your the way you did it as well. I'll say the three cars that actually define 2020 for me. It's Foka, of course. It's Costa Titch.
how can I forget Costa Titch?
All right. And this one is going to be odd because a lot of people think he didn't do much. Okay. Actually, I'm lying. The third standout for me is Younger Chief with the first album. All right. So I've got Costa Titch, Foka, and Younger.
Chief.
So just one line on, you've spoken about Foka, which I agree with. On Costa, I think the way he's been able to get the younger crowd excited about music, about hip hop music, and the way he's doing his music. Some elements of it, I think I've said it on the pod, I don't really necessarily agree with them, but he's put together an image, and within a short space of time, put together a sort of cult following. I think his followers are called, or his stands are called, Titch Gang.
Yeah, it's Titch Gang.
Yeah, it's Titch Gang. And one thing about it, he might not be the best lyricist, but you can see that the man puts in work. He works very hard. Everything that he does is thought out, all right, in terms of how to put the music together, as well as the videos that he's bringing out, and also his overall image. So I think in terms of impact, he's had, one of the standout impacts. But my man of the year is going to have to go to Younger Chief. I think Younger, in terms of overall, I think the impact that he's having is still less than the impact that he's still gonna have. I think Pop Star, the album, remember we started off the year when